This is Unemployed Jeff. Conversations about identity, uncertainty, and what's left when work has kind of fallen away. As you can assume, I'm Jeff. And my goal is you walk away at least feeling like you're not alone and knowing that you have value. Who is this for? This is for people who are unemployed, underemployed, burned out, or quietly questioning their career identity. Heavy stuff. But it's also, I just want people to know you're not alone. It's for people who are tired of being told to reframe everything as an opportunity. It's for people who are dealing with the invisible work of holding themselves together while the outside world keeps asking for updates. Sometimes it'll just be talking. Sometimes I'll have conversations with other people who've been through this, not because they figured it out, but because they lived through the in-between, or people who are currently living in the in-between. If you're listening to this and thinking, oh, someone finally said it out loud, then this is for you. And I don't know where the podcast is going to go yet. And honestly, that to me feels pretty appropriate. What I do know is that I'm going to show up honestly. I'm not going to rush the story. And I'm not going to pretend this part of life doesn't matter. If you're here, thank you. And if you're in the middle of your own reset, you're not behind, you're not broken, and you're not doing this wrong. I'm glad you're here. People start to see you differently or talk to you differently when you're unemployed. The shift happens after your job loss, and it's hard to explain unless you've felt it, because people don't say anything unkind. They just talk to you differently. And the thing is once you notice it, it's really hard to unsee, because there's this tone shift. The questions change. They slow down. They soften. You hear more pauses, a lot more kind of careful phrasing. And people start saying things like, how are you? Really? Which is kind, but also signals something has moved. You're no longer being addressed as someone in motion. You're being addressed as someone in transition. So it's like overhelping in distance, right? You know, there's some people who lean in too much. They offer advice you didn't ask for, suggestions you've already tried, and connections that don't quite fit. And then others pull back. They don't know what to say. They don't want to make it awkward. They don't want to remind you. And neither response is wrong at all. But both, they feel strange. Because at some point you realize you've become like a category. Not a problem, just a situation. And what surprised me most wasn't how people changed. It was how aware I became of it. I noticed tone, body language, word choice. And I don't think it's because I was sensitive. It was because identity was suddenly visible. When you have a job, people assume forward momentum. When you don't, they assume fragility, even if nothing about you has changed. The danger is internalizing it, and that's where it can get tricky. Because if you're not careful, you start seeing yourself the way others see you. You shrink a little, you hedge more, you explain things you don't need to explain. And it's not because anyone asked you to, but because mirrors matter. And when the mirror shifts, it affects posture. You catch yourself reassuring people about you, which is not a role you expected to play. But you need to reclaim your own lens. And this is a reminder I keep coming back to. Other people's reactions are about orientation, not truth. They're responding to uncertainty, not your worth. You don't have to correct them. You don't have to perform strength. You don't have to narrate your silence. You just have to stay aligned with yourself. So if you felt watched differently lately, treated more carefully, more gently, or more distantly, that doesn't mean you've changed. It means the story people attach to you has shifted. You're allowed to notice that without absorbing it. Your value didn't become conditional. Your identity didn't become fragile. It's the context. Only the context changed. We'll keep separating what's ours from what isn't. If you're in this space, you don't need to fix it right now. You just need to know you're not alone in it. We'll talk again soon.